Alrighty everyone, welcome in to Academy. We got Evil Geniuses up against 100 Thieves Academy. Both teams sitting at 5th place, tied in the record at 5-5. See how they're going to be able to stack up against one another here in this matchup. They both want to be able to get that edge. Try to see if they can get that much closer to getting into playoffs, because you got Evil Geniuses, a team that's been on a hot streak. 2-0 last week up against 100 Thieves, who've been struggling. Last week, they went 0-2, so they would love to be able to come into this week, show everyone what they're about. I mean, they even got contracts on Shyvana, and I expect that to be that AP Shyvana that you've been seeing crop up every now and then. We do got a brief little pause, so hopefully going to be able to figure out what's going on, be able to get right back into that game as soon as possible. But it does give me a little bit of time to talk about the compositions drafted for both teams. Like I said, contracts going for Shyvana, and since it is the AP variant, more than likely going to be trying to power farm up until level 6. So that way you had that dragon form. That's really where AP Shyvana starts to thrive, especially with how much lockdown they have. You got Braum, Azir, and Pantheon. The Azir, once you get to level 6, is going to be able to help out the ganks, especially for the Shyvana. Then over for Evil Geniuses Academy, it's a very strong, in the meta kind of composition. Sejuani jungle, something that has been starting to thrive already in 10-3. 10-4, getting buffs to Cinderhawk, already looking that much more powerful. Plus, you have 5 fire onto that Rumble, the Predator Rumble mid lane. So really going to be trying to rotate around with Anda wherever the Sejuani can be. Plus, you have the double melee, the skirmish kind of composition that Sejuani thrives in, where you have a mid lane and top laner, both of which are melee, can proc her passive so much faster, get the permafrost really quickly so they can stun even more efficiently, especially with how Sejuani likes to play. Everyone's so used to how she was prior, back when it was just about farming to level 6, trying to get access to your ult, Glacial Prison as many times as possible. Now she's much more about these skirmishes, especially when you have double melee, top and mid. Being able to skirmish, try to go for some good invades, especially if you can start getting some pressure from your lane, get a little bit of help. You need to be able to pin down contracts on this Shyvana, especially if it is that AP burst variant, where Flame Breath is going to do so much damage once she's in that dragon form. This could be huge for them, because you look at how these two teams have been playing as well. Evil Geniuses has been much more the team that has kind of struggled in the lane phase. A lot of their players start falling behind, but they really start coming together as a squad when it comes to positioning, when it comes to these team fights, when it comes to objective control from Anda. You can even remember back to when it was on 100 Thieves. On the main team back at Worlds 2018, he was all about the control, helping out the team. He was the shining light of that squad too. Now here on the Academy for Evil Geniuses, he has been able to help them. Since Evil Geniuses the first week started 0-2, and when 5 Fire and Anda both joined the team, they have now gone 5-3. Sitting at a pretty good record. Of course, they want to keep up that pressure, keep up that trend. You look at bot lane Matt, and definitely they have been probably the stronger of the lanes for Evil Geniuses. Usually, definitely is the one who comes out ahead with a larger lion's share of the gold for the team. They try to put a lot more damage on to definitely, with playing Misfortune too, it is even more something that can be facilitated in that playstyle that Evil Geniuses Academy has kind of gotten themselves known for. And of course, it is going to be about waiting for now. They're going to try to see if they can pressure back in Ezreal and Braum, who can't really do much into a fresh Misfortune lane. They're trying to see if they can last hit the best they can, survive. That way later on into the game, that's when they're going to have a little bit more that they can provide, especially for contracts on the Shyvana, who's just going to be power farming until level 6. Not really going to look for anything too crazy. Not wanting to get yourself thrown out there and die early, especially since you do have Dark Harvest. Wanting to be able to burst someone squishy like, definitely who's not going to be very mobile later in the game. Same with 5 Fire, who's going to be fairly squishy, even though it's more of that AP bruiser that Rumble can be. It's someone squishy enough for a full AP Shyvana to be able to nuke down. Of course, this is the scaling competition that we are seeing from 100 Thieves, which they themselves haven't been playing too much. They have played a couple of Azir games, but they like to win out these lanes. You look towards Saligo. The player last year, he was able to play a little bit in LCS, didn't have the best time there, but he himself has been someone a lot of analysts have talked about, saying this is the guy you got to watch out for. He has been someone who has been destroying in Academy. He is really the leader of a lot of these rookies on what you expect, for the kind of performance you want to see, especially if someone who might one day be able to break back into the LCS and have a much better showing than he did last time when he was on 100 Thieves. So here on Azir, getting good amount of pressure into Rumble. It's going to be a nice time, so that way you can try to hold back in Fire, who has that Predator, not going to be able to go back home soon, be able to pick up those boots, to be able to move around with Anda, but Anda is looking to try to make a play somewhere. Going to be on the Fake God in the top lane, going to be able to get the Darkened Blade coming in from Bandini. Here's the TP already channeled from Saligo. Is he going to be able to survive for long enough? It is going to be Fake God holding back Evil Geniuses by himself, and with Saligo here, say, all right, you got to back out. You cannot continue to fight this. Gank thwarted by Evil from 100 Thieves Academy, making sure that Evil Geniuses Academy not able to get too much off of that. Plus Contracts able to take himself some of these chickens, get himself a little bit more of that XP so he can power farm up to level 6 like I was mentioning before. That's really what you want to do with the kind of play style of Shyvana. Try to see if you can hard power farm up to level 6 when you're going to have the Dragon form and really going to be able to nuke people down. That's the big shining light of this jungle pick, is how fast you can burn people down once you have the Flame Breath out of Dragon form Shyvana. Looking at some of the buys so far, Brandini, on his recall back home, decided to get himself a call. Feels that Fake God's not going to have that much pressure, even though it is the straight dirt coming in from Pantheon. Doing a pretty good job at being able to bully around this Aatrox for now. As you can see, just a couple trades here and there. Darkened Blade completely blocked out by the Aegis Shield of Pantheon. Nothing too surprising in that matchup. Pantheon is a little stronger in these early games, as you can see from a lot of the CS leads. It's pretty much akin to how the story has been for both of these squadrons. Where you look at 100 Thieves Academy, Fake God, Saligo, two members that have had time on the LCS, even Contracts. You remember him back to the days, the heydays, when he was on Cloud9, where he was able to get to Worlds, be one of the strong teams. Unfortunately, they lose to Team WE, and I believe the quarterfinals 3-2. Not something that's great, but still making out of groups, having a good showing there. Wants to be able to get back to the LCS. Had a difficult time the past 2 years on Golden Guardian, so here's trying to say, I can lead a new squad. I can lead and helm a bunch of rookies and show them the light, show them how to play, but unfortunately not going to be able to get this first dragon. The Mountain Dragon going to be secured by Evil Geniuses. Something that they've been doing a pretty good job of all season long with how they like to play around these objectives, especially on the, like I said, being a controlled jungler that he is, and the meta kind of shifting back towards him. Not really about the carries, it's much more about these tanks. Sejuani, Trundle, Zac starting to come back in and see a lot more notoriety. Makes sense that Anda is going to have a little bit of that lead when it comes to objective pressure. Wonder if it's going to be a fight coming up soon around the Rift Herald, but you can see mid lane, Fire was able to get back towards the turret in time. No Emperor's Divide came out of Saligo. In fact, I think he might have run out of mana when he decided to go for that Dream of Shuffle there, thinking that he had a little bit more so that he could push back some Contracts nearby. So had to feign back, say, all right, get some Honey Fruits, allow an invade from Contracts, but here's the Predator pop. That's going to be the Dragon form already coming in, but no Glacial Prison unleashed by Anda, instead holding off. See how much damage came in from Anda just on the Fire. I believe that was just one use of E. Taking Fire nearly down to 50%. It's going to be a scary thing. Now that you have the Phoenix Codex completed already from Contracts once he's able to get the Runic Echoes. Scary thing, even though it's only one of the abilities that does a lot of damage, it does a lot in these early games where not everyone's going to be ready for that. See, same for Anda, still hasn't gotten any magic resistance started to build up just yet. Couple folks trying to see if they can steal away the red buff. Does not get stolen away, but here's the rotation coming in from Brandini, and Bull coming in from Fake God, trying to see if they can secure first blood with the help of Fire's Equalizer, and they got Brandini. They got Fake God already routed up. They got a lot of damage back on to Fire, trying to see if they can take him down. Just need one more. There's going to be the kill coming in from Fake God. He's able to get the Triumph stack, but not enough to heal back up. So it is a 2-for-1 in favor of Evil Geniuses. Good rotations came in. Brandini was the first one on the call. Knew that the invade was maybe a little bit too ham-fisted by Contracts, even though you do have a good ability to move around the map from Fake God. You can use that Starfall to be able to go wherever he needs to. It's just a little bit too long. The channel took too much time, and Contracts is really squishy on this AP Shyvana. Means that if you're not there at the exact moment you're needed, of course you're not going to be able to win the fight. And even though Fake God was able to get one for the fight, you lose 2-1. Give these kills over to Brandini as well on this Aatrox, who's going to start getting a lot more difficult for Fake God to be able to deal with in these 1v1 matchups in the top lane. The scaling starting to already come into effect a little bit in the mid game for Evil Geniuses. Curious to see where they're going to next prioritize. It is going to seem like they want to get themselves this Rift Herald. Looking at how Evil Geniuses have played, in fact, I believe they have gotten 60% of Rift Heralds in their games here in 2020. which is a good amount of the Rift Heralds. With how they like to play around them, of course, not doing it as well around the Dragons. This game, they really do need to make sure that they are on top of that, because against a Shyvana, who can start getting more resistance every dragon she kills, still going to be nice to be able to get a lot more gold. With the help of Shelly and Harriet, that is the name I've given to the second Rift Herald. If you don't like it, well, come up with a better name. It's not Herald. Herald the Herald does not make sense. Here's the flash in. Matt is able to get the hook onto Breezy. Try to see if they can turn it around, but unbreakable, a little bit too unbreakable for the little damage that definitely has built up, only having the PF sword with the Berserker's Greaves on top of that. So not really going to be able to get through that Braum just yet. Instead, they'll take their prize, the objective, be able to back out, try to clear out a little bit more for Anda and see where they want to prop that. As the lanes have swapped, you see that Fake God and Brandini have gone into the bot lane. Since it was the fight around Rift Herald, makes sense that they want to try to go for the Australian lane, send the bot laners to the top lane. Contract and Saligo were hoping that they could at least get on top of Deathly, since it's an immobile misfortune. But unfortunately, you have Anda, who is nearby, having taken the Rift Herald, who was able to get away, but now Fire are going to be in a little bit of danger, stretch the damage in, but the Equalizer was enough to stop them from going further. In the top lane, the Death Sentence onto Breezy. They're trying to see if they can chase him down. There's no jump away, there's no hop away. It's just going to be a kill for Deathly. Pretty easily done. 3 members into the top lane. I wonder if they're going to use the Rift Herald here. There it is. Pop Shelly, get a lot of plates, and put that gold on Deathly. Remember, that has been carrying pretty well for Evil Geniuses. They've been relying heavily on this bot lane Deathly power. They're going to get more gold, and Prismal has to back out of there. Got to be careful, because Anda still has not used the Glacial Prism, even with the pick on the Breezy. Was able to hold on to that the entire time. Was probably playing with fire on that one, staying a little bit too far out, but it does seem that Shelly only going to be able to take 3 of the turret plates in the top lane and give a lot of that gold over to Deathly. Misfortune, getting scarier, getting towards that S Creeper, far closer. And Prismal still sitting on the Tear of the Goddess and a call. Gonna be a while till that's completed. Still has 29, 28. Oh, actually getting through that pretty fast. A little bit faster than I thought it would be, but you know, you never know with an Ezreal, especially when he's given some free farm in the top lane. There he is, gonna be backing as it's gonna be a swap of lanes yet again by Evil Geniuses, continuing to play around these objectives. This is what you want to see out of these newer teams, these rookie players, how they're gonna be led by someone like Anda, someone like Matt and Deathly, where they're gonna be told to go around the map. Try to play over these objectives, and it's going to be the stolen red buff, too, by Anda. Unfortunately for Contracts, he was right there. Could have smelled it if he wanted to, but did not. Instead, lost out on that control of his own red buff, which means now he's backing off, too. Not even going to contest around this Ocean Dragon that was already started up by Evil Genius Academy. All perfectly timed from them. Unlike their past games where they far more played around the mid to late game. That's when they really have their power, the team fights. This time around, they're doing a great job of reading the map, knowing exactly where they need to be. And Contracts, the guy who's this veteran player, who's been trying to see if he can lead the squadron of 100 Thieves, hasn't been able to do so. Maybe getting the pick into the top lane onto Brandini is going to be able to help them. He is dead meat, dead out in the water. Breezy's going to be the one to pick up that kill. Would have loved to have given that over to Contracts as AP burst Shyvana. Still getting a kill onto the split pusher of Evil Genius is going to be nice. Unfortunately, though, for them on the other side of the map, was Deathly and Matt able to take a couple more plates for the team. More and more gold going into the pockets of this Misfortune, sitting at nearly 1,000 gold now over Prismal. Ezreal getting out-shoved, outclassed right now by Misfortune, since he wants to be able to, how they've changed him with the rework, the mini rework that he got not a pretty long time ago. Well, I guess about 8 months ago now. Made him a little bit better at taking these turrets. Now it's going to be the pick on Saligo. Flash came in, but not going to be able to get the death sentence from Matt. Instead, Saligo is going to be able to back out of there, having to use his flash for Matt's flash. Support for mid laner. Going to favor that of Evil Geniuses. They're going to be pretty happy with that, of course. Was the ult used by Anda? I think they're going to like that kind of pick. It's going to be a little bit more easy for them next time. They want to try to get a pick onto Saligo. Say, hey, he's here without a flash. Sure, he's throwing a shuffle, but that's about all he can do, especially if he's a little bit too far out. And we got ourselves Thrash, we got Sejuani. That's enough to be able to pick out a Nazir, especially if they're going to be able to land some of those skill shots. Now about 14 minutes into the game, Dirt Plate has fallen. A lot of that gold, like I said, put onto Matt. Finds himself with a sizable lead over that of Prismal. That's really going to be where we're going to start seeing the power coming in from Evil Genius. Brandini might get himself sold out by Contract. No Flame Breath this time. Not going to go for the Fireball. Try to get that damage over the wall into Brandini, but do get the flash out of Aatrox. Another summoner has been blown on the map by one of these teams, and this time is that continued pressure onto the top side of the map, where we've seen 100 Thieves like to put a lot of that in the past. They've really relied on Faith God and Soligo with the help of contracts to try to facilitate some of those leads in many of these matchups. In fact, most of the matchups Faith God and Soligo have, they find themselves with a decent amount of a CS lead over their opponents. I believe in about 60% of their games for both of these laners. They've been over CS at 15 minutes from their opponents and continuing to do that, having that trend here into this game, week 6. Just because you're able to get yourself a CS lead does not necessarily make it all for you. You have to be able to get some of these objectives. Now, the Cloud Dragons on board for either team, that's going to be a nice cooldown reduction. And the turret already taken to the bot lane by Evil Geniuses Academy. They're going to force away Soligo. Make sure he's not going to be able to do too much. Of course, can 100 Thieves find something on the other side of the map? Rift Herald Harriet is going to be spawning here in about a minute's time, so they could try to see if they can get some pressure around Brandini. Try to force him back underneath the turret. You can see the pings. Gonna get a good deep vision and control ward over the wall. Try to see if they can steal away those Krugs, but Brandini, ooh, this is not looking so hot for you. 4 members strong of 100 Thieves. They do look like they want to be able to set a dive. They have amazing deep vision into the jungle.
And it was meant to be.
By 100 Thieves Academy. Looks like they're just getting run around the map by Evil Geniuses Academy, getting themselves so much damage onto that tier 1. They do lose the tier 1 themselves in the top lane, but honestly, you're going to want that trade. The mid for top turret, if Evil Geniuses Academy are able to get that, they're going to be able to open up the jungle so much more of that contract. And this is that AP Shyvana. A lot more about being able to get that burst in the early game, trying to thwart what she's able to do here. Exactly in the itinerary for Evil Geniuses on what they want to be able to accomplish. They want to pin back Contract, who's only got himself, I think, about 1 or 2 stacks on that Dark Harvest. Nowhere near what you need to be able to get, and they've already been routed. Already forced away from yet another Rift Herald. Harriet should be secured by Evil Geniuses Academy, and that's going to make it so they could easily immediately go in the mid lane, pop that there, make themselves tier 1, open up the jungle of Contracts. So they're just going to be able to get some recalls, buy some of these items. Try to see if they can rotate into the bottom side of the map. So it is going to be about 15 seconds here in just a little bit until that Cloud Dragon spawns. And that will be Dragon Soul Point for themselves if they're able to secure that. And honestly, I feel like that is a lot bigger than a lot of teams and a lot of analysts have been giving credit for, because imagine with 3 dragons, how much control now you have on the map. Everyone has to be reactive to what you're doing, and this seems exactly what 100 Thieves understand. They're not going to let this go down too easily. They're trying to pressure into the mid lane. They're trying to get as much poke and any summoners they could off of Evil Geniuses Academy. That Flame Breath going to be able to chunk out a little bit onto Deathly, even getting the True Shot Barrage to try to see if they can force out this Misfortune. Make sure she's not going to be able to help out, but it is the Rift Herald who has been spawned. Harriet find herself into the mid lane. I doubt she's going to be able to get a full charge. Instead, it's just about trying to see if they can set up around that Cloud Dragon. Try to see if they can force away 100 Thieves from this objective, that or get themselves control of the vision around this river. They're forcing in 100 Thieves, and this is the gameplay style that we've been seeing throughout this entire season, the 2020 split of Evil Geniuses. They have tried consistently to see if they can get these mid-game team fights as many times as they can. They get the dragon down to about 20%. It doesn't seem that there's going to even be a fight coming in from 100 Thieves unless it's going to be the steal coming in from Fake God. Not going to happen. It's going to be secured by Evil Geniuses. They are even going to use Equalizer from 5 Fire to make sure the turret does not take too much damage. They lose nothing and get themselves Dragon Soul Point. 1 more and they'll be able to get themselves a huge amount of movement speed around the map with that Cloud Dragon Soul, plus having the cooldown reduction on their ultimate. Imagine that, a bullet time, an Equalizer in from 5 Fire, more Glacial Prisons. This is going to be disastrous for 100 Thieves Academy. They need to be able to secure that away, get themselves some of these Cloud Dragons, but it's going to be Contract into the jungle of Anda, looking to see if it can steal yet another one of these buffs away from Anda, but it is going to look like a potential pick onto Breezy. Tries to get away, not going to be able to get the ult coming in from Anda. Went a little bit wide onto Breezy, so Breezy, an easy Breezy lemon squeezy, I'm out of here. Gets himself back over to Prismal. A little bit of a siege coming in for the top lane. Saligo now here. Level 12 compared to that of 12 on 5fire, but a bit better for the wave clear. Out of an Azir, you always see the scaling. Ooh, contract over the wall, just a bit of poke onto Matt. Well, as utilizing that lantern to make sure that he's not going to be in any danger, and Dragon Form has already been used, not going to be able to get the tick, but Matt taking a lot of damage, Breezy taking pretty low as well, but here's Anda over on the other side, trying to see if they can poke at definitely. Ooh, had to flash away from the Glacial Fissure. With two members, the bot laners, this low on Evil Geniuses, does start giving 100 Thieves more control back on the map, but of course it is Brandini showing up into the mid lane as we get a pause momentarily, hopefully going to be able to figure out exactly what happened. Man, this game, even though there's only been 5 total kills here at 20 minutes, it's all been about the objective control coming in from Evil Geniuses and how they've been wanting to play this match. And this is what you expect out of someone like Anda. He is a control jungler. He loves these tanks. The Sejuanis are really what he has been so adept at playing throughout his time in LCS, in Academy as well. And he's looking like he's able to do that here against 100 Thieves, wanting to be able to get his record up to 6-4, even though, like I said, the team's record is 5-5. Him and 5fire joined in week 2 and have found themselves in a pretty good spot. Immediately in week 2, they went 2-0. The next week it was 1-1. Week after that, unfortunately, it was 0-2. But then after that, able to follow that up with another clean 2-0 week. So they're looking pretty good for themselves. Looking like 5fire and Anda have been able to have at least a good showing here in Academy. Anda we've seen before, but 5fire is a newer face. You might recall him from the Scouting Ground circuit with Faceit, where he was on the team anew. Played on that squadron with Anori, with Mash, with, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Zig as well. You had a lot of these veterans that he was playing with, but he was the rookie. He was the new face, and he was able to have a really good showing there. Even when it came to the Scouting Grounds back in 2019, yeah, he was still there. He was doing a good job for himself there, but unfortunately didn't get picked up by a team initially. With a couple of visa issues, he now finds himself here on Evil Geniuses Academy, and has been starting to get some work in. Maybe a little bit of nerve. Sometimes he gets himself caught out a little bit too far. Last week, I believe he was against TSM Academy, where just a couple picks that almost cost them some control around Baron, but they weren't the worst thing in the world. Evil Geniuses have been able to kind of rally around everyone, especially around Anda, this veteran who's been able to really help shot call, especially with Matt, too. Another familiar face of the LCS back when he was on Team Liquid. He was very well known for his Thresh and Alistar back in the day. And here, playing his Thresh, only having the 1 assist, but with only 5 total kills, it's kind of to be expected. But now that he has boots of mobility, working towards that Gargoyle Stone Plate compared to Breezy, who only has the Merc Druid. It's not going for those Moby boots like you normally see from a lot of supports. Kind of surprised, actually, even though it doesn't make sense onto Braum. You're more trying to stick around where your carries are, where Prismal and Saligo are going to be. So it does make a little bit more sense not wanting to go for these picks, not being the playmaker, being the true support, backing up your team. As I do hear that we're about to get out of the spots, we get back into the game, so just give me a second. We can talk a little bit more about what we're seeing from the builds, too. As you look over to Fake God, having gone for that lethality, the Yomu's Ghost Blade, as well as having an Executioner's Calling, trying to deal with Brandini in the side lanes, try to make sure that you can really force the issue against that Aatrox who's trying to heal up whenever he has the World Ender. But eventually he's going to get outscaled. It's going to be Brandini who's going to be able to take over the game. And this is a little bit of a mismatch from the composition of 100 Thieves, because you have scaling aspects of Azir and Ezreal with the Braum on top of it. But then you have both the AP Shyvana and you have the lethality Pantheon, which is something that you tend to see, try to be able to clear out a lot of these waves, look for the 1v1 fights into someone like Brandini, but Brandini is going to be something that eventually is not going to be contested by a Pantheon, where Pantheon's got to be kind of sitting there like, oh, I don't really do enough burst damage onto you, you're getting a little bit too tanky, especially if he starts going for stuff like the Death Stance, but that's why you get yourself an Executioner Calling to be able to deal with that. Try to make sure that he's not going to be able to heal too much through a lot of your harass, a lot of your comic fears, but there's more of attrition at the moment from those two top laners, just trying to see if it can go back and forth, back and forth. It is right now Brandini, the one getting the edge, forcing back in Fake God as Contracts is trying to see if he can secure some vision control around the Baron, now that that is what is on the board. Both teams trying to see how heavily they can contest around that, but no team really getting the true edge. No one having a gold lead, despite the fact that it's been 2 Rift Heralds for Evil Geniuses. 3 dragons for the side of Evil Geniuses Academy as well. They find themselves barely out of lead. In fact, just going back and forth depending on how the sketch is. Like right now they're down about 200, but they have to see if they can get a little bit more. They're slowly getting outscaled by this Azir and Ezreal, and they're getting heavily harassed by Contract, Saligo, and Prismal whenever they try to step forward. You can see how Firefire went for the Predator boots and tried to go for that kind of keystone onto Rumble to be able to have a better impact in that early game. Wasn't really able to get it. Now it's about seeing if you can roam around the map, make more plays elsewhere. They get themselves run. Did a decent job early into the game, but unfortunately they're not really able to find much more. They're kind of waiting for some of these objectives, waiting for another Cloud Dragon, but here comes the TP into the bot lane looking for Brandini, getting a lot of harass coming in back on Fake God, but here's the Emperor's Divide not doing enough. The flash coming in from Brandini, trying to see if he can stay alive against Contract, getting a lot of damage, has to go golden to be able to survive that. Saligo the next to take up the turret, has to flash away. Brandini, 1v3, finally will fall to Saligo, finds himself the kill. Looked like it almost was a botched dive coming in from 100 Thieves, but they do finally execute that Aatrox. Unfortunately, they lose the top tier 1, so gold does benefit that of Evil Geniuses, even if slightly. And then suddenly, Saligo, you were back in the wrong neighborhood. Good rotation came in from Matt and Anda to be able to capitalize on that. Can't just be sleeping on that one. You're not singed. You can't be proxy farming wherever you want. Gotta go home. Back to Shurima. Fortunately finds the quickest way there with a death. So we'll be hanging out there for quite some time, as it is going to be about securing some vision around this Cloud Dragon Soul on the table for Evil Geniuses Academy. Of course, 100 Thieves have to play a lot more aggressively. They need to make sure they're not giving this up so easily to Evil Geniuses, who are just pushing out, trying to see if they can survive. Contract trying to get a little bit of damage back onto Definitely not able to find anything. Here's Pat, though, with a pick onto Breezy. Only a little bit of damage through the Unbreakable. Not enough to actually be able to burst through the shield, and here's Definitely having to take the ride back over towards Matt. They all start onto the Cloud Dragon, but it's the pressure coming in from 100 Thieves Academy, saying we're going to forfeit the Cloud Dragon Soul for the tier 1 to mid, and they're going to get the pick onto Breezy, and now played back in the box. Laid down, Glacial Prison. Thrown out, trying to see who they can get. There it is. It's going to be Breezy, the one taking it up with the bullet time, making sure that that is not going to go anywhere. You've got Breezy locked into the corridor and getting the kill over to Fire. Honda taking a lot of damage from those shoulders. As you can see, that Contract trying to get away, but it's Brandini and Fire on the hunt. Turtle change, but the locked in from Fake God. Good use of the Lantern came in from Matt to be able to get his top laner out of dodge. Not only were they able to get the pick onto Breezy, they were able to find themselves a Cloud Dragon, but unfortunately now, a lot of damage went onto Onda, so it could be the Baron started up by the side of 100 Thieves. Are they going to be able to thwart this? There's a TP from Brandini if he wants to be able to get in. They see it with the Control Ward. Did he use the Lantern, try to see if he can get in? No, it's going to be too little too late. It's going to be the Secure coming in from 100 Thieves Academy, but they're going to be the chase still there. Getting a lot of damage coming in from Fire, but he's got no one to back him up, and he dies immediately for it. I don't know why he TP'd in there. Nobody could back him up. He didn't even have the equalizer. That would have been the perfect time to use that. So now it's going to be 5 members strong for 100 Thieves Academy with the Baron. They will lose the tier 1, but Contracts barely sidesteps the Glacial Prison. Now finds himself caught out. Good knockup came in from Onda, getting the killing spree for himself. So they do take down one of the Baron buffs at the end of the day. But that's still 4 members strong of 100 Thieves Academy, holding on to that Baron buff. They can now use that themselves to try to see if they can wrestle control of the Rift back away from Evil Geniuses. Evil Geniuses, even though they were able to get the Cloud Dragon Soul, played a little bit carelessly there around that mid lane. You look at how Ando was stepping up. He took so much damage from Saligo. This is why you tend to see Azir when it comes to these tank metas. He has so much damage later into the game. Having himself the Nashor's Tooth and the Leandra is able to burn through Anda, who has no resistances right now. Only the Warmogs and Cinderhawk. No magic resistance means those soldiers are going to tear through him. Can't really have that here, especially with their tank. I believe that was before Anda had Warmogs too, so it wasn't even able to heal up through that poke that had been unleashed by Saligo. Honestly, I got to give a lot of credit over just to Azir, over to Saligo. Getting that damage onto Ando was why they were able to then rotate immediately for that Baron, get that for themselves. They could have had all 5 members, but Contracts unfortunately stayed a little bit too long on the map. Got himself picked out by Anda and Brandini. Getting more and more kills onto the Sejuani. Probably not the member you would have liked that kill to go onto, but the pick's a pick. You get rid of one Baron buff. At least that's one less lane, one less person that you have to worry about. Now they're trying to see if they can pop the Predator. Looking to see if they can route back 100 Thieves Academy, but maybe Fire went a little bit too far. Here comes Contract in with the Dragon Form, looking to see if he can get the Flame Breath onto anybody. They're going to be able to get the knock-up onto Matt, and they're going to be able to get so much damage, even through the Gargoyle. Stoneblade, he tried to survive, but he just couldn't. Prismal will be able to pick up the kill. Contract looking for more poke. Going to get a lot on it definitely on the back line. Trying to see if they can get more underneath this turret. But it's just going to be the Baron Bub Cannon Minion unleashing hell onto the turret. Only getting a couple of attacks here and there. Forced back away, as you can see, where the gold is starting to accrue on both sides. Like I said before, definitely got himself 1,000 gold lead out of lane, but that really hasn't grown at all. In fact, the biggest gold lead now is starting to go over to Sligo on this Azir. Starting to scale himself, has about 1,300 gold over Fire, Rumble, mid game. That is usually where he starts taking over, and now Anda almost gets himself caught out in his own jungle, thinking that he can go there, but when you take down those tier 1s and you have a Baron buff, it makes it so difficult for the jungler to actually secure any of your own CS, any of your own jungle camps. That's why Anda has to be a little bit more careful. Of course, it is Sejuani. It does take a while to kill Sejuani and her boar, but it is enough when you have that many members, when you have someone like Sligo who can really burst through and burn her down quickly. You have to be a little bit more cautious. We're about 28 minutes into the game. Barely having a gold lead now for a team. This time it's 100 Thieves Academy. And themselves about 1,000 gold lead over that of Evil Geniuses. And all they have to do is wait, scale up. They've gotten the Muramana completed for Prismal. He's looking towards that Blade of the Rune King as his next item. So he's going to be able to tear through that of Sejuani as well as that of Matt on Thresh. Of course, you have to be able to deal with Brandini. You have to be able to deal with Fire and Deathly too. But really, this is what their competition is about for 100 Thieves. They're trying to see if they can scale up. I mentioned before, there's a little bit of a kind of counter to their own comp in their own comp. Having the Pantheon go for the lethality. Now he has his Black Cleaver to be able to do a little bit more damage, get through some of the tankiness of Anda. But that's kind of how you have to transition into this game. He's more going to be about locking someone down and then putting the invulnerability, directional damage from his Age of Shield. Just put that down, say, all right, you got Flame Spitter, you got Bullet Time. They really can't get through my shield. I'm Pantheon. I'm a Spartan warrior here. And the Contract himself is going to be similar to that of how an Elise plays in the late game. Try to flank around. Since Misfortune has to root herself with Bullet Time, it's a really easy target for Dragon Form Flame Breath coming in from Shyvana to be able to nuke her down, especially with that AoE it does wherever it hits the ground. It will be able to burn her really quickly. Of course, it is a very interesting build coming in Contract with the Gnasher's Tooth. Trying to not only have the damage coming in from your E, but also be able to do a little bit more with the Q. Kind of find that interesting. Usually you see someone just try to go fully into how much damage you do with your E. Go for like Leandry's, almost getting the defensive from that. They put down the turret. Without the Baron buff now, it is a little bit more difficult for them to siege, but they do want to see if they can force away Evil Geniuses from this Elder Dragon. It's going to be 30 minutes. Here comes the Dragon Form over the wall. Not going to be able to get the Flame Breath that it needed to onto Fire. They're all kind of in this weird area. The Flash comes in from Breach. They're going to be able to get away from the Glacial Prison, utilizing that Flame Breath to try to see if it can keep everyone pinned into their own jungle. Evil Geniuses not having an easy time getting out. Trying to see what they can do because they want to be able to get this Elder Dragon, but 100 Thieves kind of backed themselves into a corner here. True Shot Barrage came out. They want to see if they can push back in this minion wave in the mid lane, try to see if they can threaten the tier 2, but it is the Elder Dragon that is now going to be threatened by Evil Genius Academy. They got themselves in a pretty good spot, trying to see how much damage they can soak up. Matt didn't even take that much. There's no Dragon Form anymore for Contracts. He's trying to see if he can scale that back up as quickly as he can over on the chickens, but now it's down to 50% on the Elder Dragon. Here comes the damage coming in from Prismal. They're looking to see if they can take down Matt. Going to be able to get the Glacial Prison into the backline to be able to interrupt that. And definitely the flash comes in from Brandini trying to get away. But here comes Cavalry. Here's Fake God in the backline trying to see if he can route anybody else. Here's the flash in. It's going to be Anda who secures the Elder Dragon. And this is disastrous for 100 Thieves. They got a flash over the wall, but you can see they're all getting nuked down. Prismal barely over the wall. Not going to be the snipe coming in from the Elder Dragon. They themselves wanted to see if they could bait in Evil Geniuses, but they were the ones who fell for the trap. With the Elder Dragon now secured by Evil Geniuses Academy, they got themselves a pretty nice spot on the map for the Baron next, so they can start to see if they want to threaten. They're going to be able to heal through a lot of the poke that comes in from 100 Thieves Academy. And no longer having Fake God nor Breezy might be a difficult thing for them to actually try to contest around this Baron buff. They would love to be able to get Contract into the backline, but he's not going to be able to have that Dragon Form to be able to get over the wall. They're Evil Geniuses are almost gifted not only the Elder Dragon, but now the Baron too. Two huge buffs here. 31 minutes into the game. The synchronized recalls will go off, and they now have control of the map. All from 100 Thieves wanting to find a pick, but Evil Geniuses read that one beautifully. They kept forcing themselves into the jungle without taking too much damage from 100 Thieves. Contracts want to see how much he can be able to pin back in Evil Geniuses Academy with those flame breaths, but it wasn't enough. It's not quite like an equalizer, even though it's a mini area of control. It's not nearly as much damage that Rumble can do. Then you have a good pick coming in the front line of Anda to be able to step in front of everyone with Fake God into the back line, and no support to be seen, trying to see if they can help this Pantheon get into the back line, take down Deathblade, take down Brandini. Just allowed them to then clean up 4v5, force away Breezy too. Evil Geniuses, really curious to see how they're going to be able to use this Baron buff now that they've gotten it for themselves. Trying to see if they can force in. Plus they have the Elder Dragon as well with four dragons. And not only will they be able to burn a lot more, but they get all this movement speed around the map for themselves. They can easily start rotating around, making it so that they can set up each one of these minion waves so that it will constantly push into themselves, and anytime 100 Thieves answer, they're already left the lane. They can move so much faster than 100 Thieves Academy can. With that, you can see, they're trying to send 2 members into the bot lane, trying to deal with Brandini. Not really going to be able to do too much with 3 members now holding off 4 in the mid lane. It's going to be the tier 2 that falls. Evil Geniuses Academy continue to have the pressure. With that pressure, they're going to keep putting in this ward line, keep making sure that it's just clean, clinical League of Legends. Paint by numbers, some call it. I don't know if Mr. Cage of the Rage out there likes to call it the paint by numbers League of Legends, where all you do is put down vision control, wait for the minions to kind of pour into the base of 100 Thieves Academy, and wait it out. There's not really that much they can do. The Baron up cannon minions going to do a lot of harass onto those inhibitor turrets. All you have to do is keep waiting for them to show back up, get the buff up from the Baron, and wait it out. And just trying to see if he can keep away Breezy from clearing some of those wards, make it so that the support's not able to do his job, not able to get his vision score up. Of course, it's the slow, steady League of Legends siege there for Evil Geniuses Academy, getting a lot of damage onto these inhibitor turrets down past that final threshold for both the mid and the bot inhibitor turrets, so they're only going to be able to regen so much, even if they're not going to be able to secure it. All they have to do is wait it out. Now, this is where Thieves Academy, they were trying to see if they can make a pick, but now Shaliko's been left alone in the top lane. Flame Splitter doing so much damage. 4 or 5 fire. He goes golden. They get the kill. They get the turrets themselves too. With no Azir anymore. That is a lot of the wave clear gone for 100 Thieves Academy, and you can tell that Evil Geniuses making that call, trying to see if they can get more, but definitely having to get away from Contract, trying to get the damage into the backline on to that 80 carry of Evil Geniuses, but not able to find any of it. Still forced back, trying to see what they can do, and it seems like 100 Thieves Academy are scrambling at this point. They're not exactly sure what they can get for themselves, even though the Baron buff and the Elder Dragon is gone for Evil Geniuses. They were able to get so much. They have this mid-tier turret almost down. The bot inhibitor turret's gonna die right now to Brandini, and the pick looks like it's gonna be good in the mid lane. They get so much damage. They burst down Prismal too. Then it's gonna be the inhibitors to fall in both mid and bottom lane at nearly the same time. 3 members. It's gonna be 4 soon once the league goes able to respawn, but it's gonna be so long until Prismal's back on the map. I don't know what 100 Thieves are going to be able to do, unless, of course, Evil Geniuses want to play this one safe. They don't want to get too cocky here. They want to make sure the minions are all here, pouring into the top lane, take down yet another inhibitor turret. Like I said, the paint by numbers League of Legends. Glacial Fissure comes out, trying to see if they can get the Dragon 4 minions from Contract to get some of the backline damage onto Deathly. Has to flash away. He's barely alive, still holding on to dear life. Can he get away from this? Here comes the Starfall into the backline. Fake God makes Deathly go golden. Can they take him down? It's going to be the shutdown coming in from Fake God, and they're going to try to see if they can turn it around on a Fake God, but he's still alive. Somehow holding on to dear life. Brandini, next one that they want to target, should be able to get himself with the dash, Umbral Dash over the wall. He survives, but they do get the pick onto Deathly. Unfortunately, there's not much that you can see 100 Thieves Academy can get for themselves on the map. It will be about 28 seconds, 26, 25 seconds until that Elder Dragon is going to spawn. And it is 30 seconds until Deathly will be back up. So it could be trying to posture around this objective. If They themselves are pretty low. They have to be so careful. Even with a fight like this, definitely has TP. You can always join into the fight, even if it's a little bit delayed. And unless you get versus immediately down, you got about 15 seconds here. 100 Thieves Academy. They're trying to make the call. They don't have face cut here. That is a 4v4. They don't have Pantheon, and they still try to go for the objective down to 50%. Can they get onto into the pit? Trying to see if he gets smited away yet again. Not going to be able to get it secure. It's going to be Soligo who takes it, but he loses his own life in the backline. Principal going to be the next one down. Fire trying to take it him. No, he's still alive, and they're going to be able to get the shutdown in with the Elder buff to back it all up. With everyone so low, though, on 100 Thieves Academy, they're trying to get away. Brandini might die to the Elder buff. There it is, double kill. Coming in from Prismal. 3 members will hold on to the Elder buff. But unfortunately, they lose so much on the map. The Baron are going to be the next thing to spawn. They might not be able to fight back. They still have the junglers up on both squads. They could have positioned around that. But the fact that Soligo was able to secure that Elder Dragon will have 100 Thieves Academy holding on to dear life in this game. They don't want to fall yet. Like I said, the battle of 5th place. Both teams sitting 5-5. Evil Genius Academy are just going to start up. They're saying, to hell with it. We might as well take it right now. We don't need to have any backup, but they were spotted out by some of the vision. Here comes the blue trinket over the wall. Lantern as well. Make sure they're going to be able to get out of the pit. They don't want to fight that, as we do get another pause, unfortunately. 3rd one of the game. You know, it happens. Man, we can kind of dissect what just happened, because that was craziness between the two squads. And the fact that Soligo was able to secure that Elder buff for 100 Thieves Academy, that alone is keeping them alive in this game, because if that was secured, if the smite had come through from Anda, this game would be over. There would easily have been the executions onto Prismal, onto Breezy, onto Contracts. They were so low in that fight, but because they didn't have the Elder buff execute on Evil Geniuses, not only were they able to hold on, but they were able to spit that back out at Fire and Brandini. Get both the top and mid dead, so that way they themselves could then rotate around, keep the Baron from going into the hands of Evil Geniuses Academy, since it wasn't too much. Well, I mean, okay, there was a lot. Let's be honest. There was a lot lost on the last Baron push for 100 Thieves Academy, but they still have the base. They didn't lose every single inhibitor. Had they lost all 3 of them, that probably would have been it right there. You lose all 3 inhibitor turrets. An easy push comes in from Evil Geniuses this time, where they can end the game off of that. They probably wouldn't even need to get a pick, but now, because they weren't able to get that, they are able to fight back. They are able to find themselves still on this map as the TP going to come in from Soligo. They want to make this a YOLO call on the Baron, saying, Fire doesn't have TP. We might as well see if we can burst it down. Go for another 50-50. Can Soligo be able to secure it this time around? It's so low. And you got to be able to go for the wall soon. You got to make the call. Where is it going to come in? They're waiting a little bit too long. Brandini's still not in the pit. Oh, no. Another pause. PC boom is what I've heard. So right as it's down to about 25% health, actually probably a little bit less than that. Ooh, man. Ooh-wee. This is a bit of a yikes on that one. It's just an unfortunate thing that happened. So with that, it's going to be down to, once we get unpaused, this game is going to go right back into the thick of it. If you guys are watching out there, if you're hearing me, I want you to let me know who you think is going to be able to steal this while we're in our pause, because I'd be curious to see later on who y'all thought was going to be the one to secure it. Because I myself, I'm looking at how everyone's postured. Brandini not here yet. All 5 members strong from 100 Thieves Academy. I wonder if they try to go for the pick instead onto Fire right here. They have both Breezy and Prismal in a position. No flash onto Rumble. They're able to get the stun onto this Rumble before he's able to get the equalizer off, or they make him use the equalizer outside of the pit. I think they're going to be able to get it. But for now, I think we're going to toss it over to a break and let the pause come back after that. So we'll join back in just a little bit.
A summoner has reconnected.
back into the game. Bullet time over the wall. Anda actually decided to go into the pit. It's down so low. Nobody's going to be able to secure it. Archer Casala is gone. You don't have the flash. It's going to be secured by Contract. Equalizer not able to get the kill on the Fake God. He's still barely alive. And no Elder Dragon kill because they didn't have it. So with the Baron and the Elder now secured by 100 Thieves Academy, they hold on not only for dear life. This could be their time to be able to fight back against Evil Geniuses Academy, take control of the map that they have lost. They lost so much before they've been pushed back into their own base. They still are alive here in this game. About 39 minutes into the game, they themselves, 100 Thieves Academy, have the composition that's able to scale. You have an Azir, you have an Ezreal. You're going up against Misfortune, you're going up against Rumble. Rumble is pretty good in these late game fights, but really this is where they start thriving on 100 Thieves. Of course, they have to be able to utilize Fake God more as a stun bot, as someone who's a front line. That's what his big role here is, with the shield that he can put up and be able to survive so much of the damage coming in from Evil Geniuses Academy. Same with Contract, he is all about flanking. Having the death cap, utilizing those flame balls to be able to get into the backline, burst down deftly. They've been able to do that so far in these fights. They've been critical. It's been wild that they've been able to hold on throughout a lot of this. They were pushed back and it looked like it was all over, but it's almost like overconfidence came in from Evil Geniuses Academy. They had gotten a little bit too far out. A couple good picks here and there. Good calls. The confidence from 100 Thieves, even being down, they still make the call that they've got a couple picks that they can go for the Elder Dragon, that they can go for the Baron. With Anda having gone in too early with that large assault, there's a good pullback from 100 Thieves. And this, you have to give a lot of credit over to Contracts. This veteran player for this Academy squad is just telling them how he thinks that they need to be able to play around these objectives. Finally, they are getting more gold back onto the map. They had found themselves about 2,000 gold behind. Now they're almost within 1,000 gold. It looks like they had to pick on the other side on the Breezy. Firefire taking a lot of damage. Has to be careful. Here comes the Starfall getting into the back line, but maybe a little bit too far there. Fake God, he's still alive. Trying to see if he can pull it back onto Matt. And it's going to be Contract over the wall, trying to see if they can get any side that they can. Both here and there, definitely having to run away back into his base. That's 100 Thieves Academy marching in the minions this time around. They will get both mid and bot at the exact same time, doing exactly what Evil Geniuses Academy had done to them just mere moments ago when they were the ones with the double buff. Evil Geniuses Academy, you gotta be able to find a miracle here, because it looks like the minions are starting to pour in onto your next turret. Getting a lot of damage onto one of them, but they're still a little bit afraid. Fake God might have Guardian Jingle, but he's taken pretty low and doesn't want to go into the backline just yet. Trying to see who they can catch out if they can get another pick like they did onto Matt. But instead, they're gonna back off, play it safe. Similar to how Evil Geniuses Academy had done when it was their turn at pushing into the base. Neither team wanting to push too far. Both of them getting the utmost respect for the other. They're both tied here in the ring, but look at that flash coming in from Soligo! The pick on the Firefire immediately into Deathly. Brandini running for the hills, but it's one against the world, and the world is knocking you down. Brandini, you're not going to be able to survive this one. That was all Soligo, the hero for 100 Thieves Academy. He saw Firefire was way too far. He got the pick. They immediately get Deathly on top of that as well. And it's merely 2 tanks for Evil Geniuses Academy, trying to hold onto the base, and I don't think they're going to be able to do it. Here come the minions pouring into the base. The turret's next to fall down. One's gone. They're going to be able to follow suit immediately onto the second next turret, but they want this game. They don't even want to pad the KDAs because they know it's been a rough battle back and forth. They get a lot of damage on the map, but they take the game.